The standings and all the West Coast teams will tip off at 12:30 p.m. The Lakers have locked up the number 3 seed. The Rockets have locked up the number 2 seed. And, of course, OKC, they've been the top seed in the West for quite some time. So it's all about what Denver, the Clippers, and the Warriors do today, as well as Minnesota, as they're taking on the Utah Jazz. So it's simple. If the Warriors win, they're taking on the LA Lakers, and they get 6 days off. If they lose, we'll be back here Tuesday as they host the Memphis Grizzlies and they play-in game. So the priority is simple: win and worry about the matchups later, right, Fezzi?
Absolutely, Bonte. Right now, this is a Game 7, winner takes all. You don't want to be in the playoff box. And the Warriors are really wanting this week off because at age 37, Steph Curry, age 35, Draymond, and age 36, Jimmy Butler, like these guys could really use the rest at this point of the season. So, yes, you win and you move on and get to the playoffs.
Rest and recovery yesterday. Wake up, get your big face coffee, get a good breakfast, warm it up, and play Game 82, which takes on Game 7 implications.
Now, what if they do lose? It is a benefit to have the playing game here at home. Now, I don't want to put those vibes out there, but if you do lose and play Tuesday, you're taking on a Memphis team that has struggled without Taylor Jenkins, and it's not the worst thing in the world. If you won that game, they take on a Houston Rockets team that doesn't have as much experience as as the LA Lakers.
Yeah, I think in a Game 7 type scenario, Bonte and Festus, you always want to play with extra focus and energy and effort, but you also want to play a little free and loose. And I think that's both teams have that ability to do that because it's not the worst case scenario. Of course, you want to win today and get that week off. But one team's going to lose and play a game Tuesday. And with that, you'll play Memphis at home, whoever the team is, right? And then you're going to have 3 days off anyway. So I think it really helps for today's game where you want that intensity, but also it's not the end of the world if you happen to have a bad game and lose.
What does Steve Kerr say? You have 3 shots to get to the playoffs. You got tonight. If you lose tonight, you play against the Memphis Grizzlies. If you lose that game, you go play against whoever wins between Dallas and the Sacramento Kings. So for the Warriors, you got a chance to make it to the playoffs, but you don't want to take that chance. All right, it's not like March Madness. This is April. We don't want March Madness right now. We want to get to the playoffs.
We don't want to go
Friday off.
And we don't want to go past Tuesday, really. And let's get it done today.
Yes, please. We all want 6 days off. But here's what Steph Curry said Friday night after the Blazers win, after they beat the Blazers, on how it's going to be Game 7 5s inside this building in about an hour.
I don't want to be too dramatic. Like it should be like a Game 7 kind of vibe. You win, and again, you control your destiny on a guaranteed playoff series. You lose, you roll the dice. So I think I said last game, like good teams find a way to win, big games like that, and that's what we're aiming to be.
All right, let's go inside the Chase Center for the first time today to the great KB, Kendrick Perkins, and our Warriors insider and Hall of Famer here at NBC Sports Bay Area.
Monty!
Monty Poole in the building.
Playoff intensity, baby.
It is playoff intensity up here at the A House at KB. What is your priority for the Golden State Warriors before this game and moving forward? Is it the offense? Is it the defense? Is it the non-Steph minutes? What is the top priority for the Golden State Warriors right now, KB?
Well, one thing we'd like to talk about is the offense. And first things first, we had our backs turned for a while to the camera because we were watching Steph warmed up. He's always, that thumb, we wanted to see how he was doing. He is sinking threes from the corner just like normal, so hopefully Steph is feeling okay in his warm-up. But as for the offense, both Kerr and Draymond were talking lately about how they can feel it sticking. What are you observing, Monty? And where
it's true. There are too many possessions where the ball doesn't move and players don't move. The Warriors are at their best when their offense is all about movement. Players moving, the ball moving. You keep going until you find an open shot. And like Draymond was saying tonight, Steve always tells us, find the open guy, find the open guy. And if everybody's moving, there's usually somebody open. Between the use of screens and pin downs, you can find somebody open. What's happened, though, is there's been an odd amount of shot clock violations, which when the offense is running like it should, that doesn't happen. You find an open shot. So Jimmy Butler is not a big motion guy, but he picks teams apart in the post. So they have 2 ways to play, but the main thing for this team is you got to be able to move the ball and move your bodies and find open shots. Against this team, it's going to be hard, but that's the best way the Warriors play.
Well, some of their offenses, when Steph isn't playing, give the ball to Jimmy. Give Jimmy some space and watch him create.
Yes, because their offense with Jimmy is different. When Steph is the guy, it's the offense built around him.
Yes.
When he's off the floor, it's now built around Jimmy. Make sure Jimmy gets a touch every single possession. movement, which sometimes doesn't happen.
Okay, so some involvement, have some better starts, keep the ball moving, have that rhythm and flow,
Yes.
which will lead to more connectivity between offense and defense.
No doubt about that, KB. It's been a bit clunky on the offensive side as of late for the Warriors, and they'll need to fix that today against a red-hot Clippers team. They're 17-3 in their last 20. We check in. Every connection counts. Miss USA, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm so thrilled to be here. This is actually my first NBA game in the Bay that I've been to, so I'm really excited.
This is a big one.
This is a big one. I know. I feel like I'm about to go on stage again. I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, I don't know how you scored a ticket
Nervous
for
at
this.
all. Very confident.
Very confident. So let me ask you, you got your bachelor's degree at West Point Military Academy, which is very impressive, which shows that you have a lot of discipline, stuff that we lack, Fezzi. You're also pursuing a master's degree at Stanford University.
Yes.
So what accomplishment are you most proud of?
Oh, honestly, you know, it's deeply humbling to be the reigning Miss USA. I'm the 73rd American woman to ever be crowned, but for me to have raised my right hand and take an oath to serve this country, that tops everything for me.
Thank you for your service.
For
That's
sure.
about respect and admiration for that. But you were a 3-sport athlete in high school.
Yes.
Volleyball, basketball, and track. First, which sport did you enjoy the most? And did they prepare you to compete in the pageant circuit?
Yes. Well, I feel like basketball, honestly, I'm left-handed. So when I was born,
You know what it is?
when I was born, my dad said, you're
This is
left-handed.
one of the best lefties this game has ever seen.
When I was born, my dad said, you're left-handed, Alma, you're like 5'9", at like 13, you're gonna play basketball. So I played basketball. Ever since I came out of the womb, it was predetermined for me. But I really enjoyed it because it taught me playing 3 sports. It teaches you that, you might not always be number one, may not always be the MVP, but it's gonna teach you something about committing to a team, having team cohesion, things like that, being a team player. So I loved it, I'm a runner now, so I'm training to run the Big Sur Marathon at the end of this month. And that discipline aspect, that's where it comes in. So yeah, I really enjoyed playing 3 sports growing up.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a second. All right, let's talk academics, because this is also really important. I read somewhere that you skipped the 3rd grade.
I did.
This is why you were able to graduate early. We have that in common. I skipped the 5th and the 6th grade.
I see you.
All right?
All right.
So, okay, I don't know what the Knight Hennessy Scholarship is, but you have that. Now you're studying at Stanford, data science track. What does it mean for you to be this and to do that? What are you trying to do with those aspirations?
For sure. Well, I've always been committed to health and nutrition. A lot of my research in undergrad was focused on health and nutrition, and then also at Stanford, publishing research in the realm of health and nutrition and data analytics. So for me to think about, how to continue to contribute to greater society and make an impact, I feel like data analytics is a great way to do that. And also just representing for young women across the globe to show that you can be a woman in STEM, you can be a woman in a male-dominated field. There's really no limit that you can't take on. So that's really what it is about for me.
Wow, you're doing it. That's
You're doing it big.
I
You're doing it
appreciate
big.
it.
Now, the Warriors, they have a massive game. You mentioned it. You're going to be in there against the LA Clippers. You performed on the biggest stages under the brightest lights.
Yes.
How do you handle pressure?
Oh, man. Well, I like to think of it, live in the moment, but don't make the moment any bigger or smaller than it is. Have fun with it, just like you were talking about, play loose, things like that. I try and keep that in mind because I want to remember the moment as much as I can. And so if I can, play loose and get out there and be the best representation of myself, that's what matters.
And you rep Michigan hard.
Yes.
There's no guy in that building that really reps Michigan. You've been watching him for a long time?
I have.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Draymond Green, Spartan Dogs.
Yes.
So you're Michigan State or Michigan?
Michigan State. Go Green.
Oh, wow, Sparty over
That's
the
right.
Wolverines.
That's
Go
right.
Green. Wow, well, very impressive. And we're pulling for you, man. Congratulations on all your success.
Thanks so much.
Jimmy Butler, he's been successful since you've been a member of the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
Steve Kerr touched on him earlier today on Jimmy Butler's forum.
You've been asked a couple times about Jimmy and, is he aggressive enough offensively? And you said, I'm not worried about Jimmy. He'll do it. And it seemed like Friday, watching on TV, that he was a little more assertive and gave you guys what you needed at the moment. Do you see that at all the last couple of games? Him maybe it's kind of clicking into playoff mode? Or
Yeah, 29 free throws in 2 games would indicate a level of aggression. And, Jimmy's just, he's such a unique player. So when you say, well, he's got to be more aggressive, to me, that does not mean 20 shots. It means getting him the ball and attacking him getting to the foul line and then creating a lot of shots for others. And that's, that's where our team has really evolved in a lot of ways. We no longer have to count on all the motion to generate a defensive rotation. So when Jimmy's out there, a lot of times we just throw him the ball in space, and that's a luxury to be able to do that, especially against a great defensive team, switching everything, taking away some of our off-ball stuff. Get the ball to Jimmy, get spaced, and let him create something. We're getting good shots over and over again.
One follow-up, I think in that Portland game, he passed a wide open layup.
Yeah, I didn't really like that one.
Okay, just checking.
He split tens at the blackjack table with a 5 showing for the dealer, and I think you just take the 20 and run with it. So.
All right, let's go back inside the Chase Center to the great KB, Kareth Burke alongside Petalumas. With the green jacket, Dalton's getting ready for golf, the Masters. You're in the wrong place. That's Augusta, Georgia, Dalton, not Chase Center. All right, Dalton Johnson here. But you heard Steve Kerr talk about Jimmy Butler right there, and we're all waiting for Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, to arrive. I think we got a glimpse of that Friday night in Portland, KB.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's coming in knowing what he needs to do, and maybe because this game feels like a playoff game, we get a little preview of playoff Jimmy. And I like listening to Steve there explain all the ways that Jimmy can impact a game, because playoff Jimmy doesn't mean he's going to score 9, 10 times like right away. What Jimmy Butler does to take over a game is read the game, assess who needs to touch the ball, assess who needs to be involved, and what the moment calls for. That's what he's great at.
He's always going to make the right play. That is his MO. But I thought what he did against Portland, especially when Steph Curry went out with that thumb issue, spoke volumes to a little bit of a preview of playoff Jimmy, right? So Steph Curry goes out with that injury, and Jimmy Butler scores 18 of his 24 points in the second half, 9 in the third quarter, including 5 in the final 2 minutes and 43 seconds when he replaced Steph Curry. But it was really the fourth quarter to ensure that Steph Curry could watch the rest of the game from the sidelines, get as much rest as possible for this wild regular season finale when he scored another 9 points and went 7 of 7 from the free throw